Alright guys, welcome to 2.6. We're solving equations using multiplication and division. Okay, so this is very similar to what we've done before. I think you guys can handle this really well. If I gave you 4x equals negative 200, and I said solve that equation, what would you do? Well, hopefully, you could maybe mental math it and say, well, 4 times 50 would equal positive 200, so 4 times negative 50 would equal negative 200. And what you've just done is you've proved to me that you understand what's going on here, and that is you have 4 and x that are right next to each other, which means 4 times x. But again, when we solve equations directly, we're not so much using mental math as we're trying to kind of follow the process and get ourselves to have the variable by itself. So how do I get this variable by itself? Well, I have 4 times x. Got to again use the inverse operation. Inverse operation of what though? Well, there's multiplication going on. So what's the inverse of multiplication? Division. So I'm going to divide by 4. Okay, and notice I'm dividing the whole side by 4. Okay, which means every single term. Now we only have one term on this side, and that term is 4x. So 4x over 4, well, those are both going to cancel to become 1 and 1. And so now I'm left with 1x over 1, which is just the same as saying x. Okay, I'll write that over here. 1x over 1. Those ones, I don't even need them there. I can just write that as plain old x. And so that's what I have here. But now the important part is if you divide one side by 4, you've got to divide the other side by the same thing. Okay, so what's negative 200 divided by 4? That's how we get our negative 50. Now, is our answer reasonable? Is it accurate? How do we know? Well, let's plug that 50 back into the original. I had 4, this is question number 1, I had 4x equals negative 200. If you plug in negative 50 in there, you get 4 times negative 50 equals, question mark, negative 200. Well, let's see, 4 times negative 50, 4 times 50 would be 200. So yeah, negative 200 does in fact equal negative 200. And there you go. All right, so what if you were given this one? And it said solve. Solve the equation. Again, it's an equation that has an equal sign. This is an expression, this is an expression. So what would you do? Well, let's think. What operation do I have going on here? I have a division going on. And again, I have m being divided by 3.4. I don't want m to be divided by 3.4. I want him just to be there by himself, equal to some number. So how do we get ourselves there? Well, division. How do I get rid of that division of 3.4? Well, I do the inverse of division, which is multiplication. Let's multiply by 3.4 on both sides. And again, this is a fraction here, so I'm going to multiply it by 3.4 over 1, which is also a fraction. And then over here, I got to multiply by 3.4, and I'm not going to make it 3.4 over 1 because this is just a plain old number, and I'm going to multiply him by another number. I'm not going to make them fractions. I don't have to. All right, so 3.4 times 2, when you do that, you get 6.8. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 22. 3.4 times 22 equals 74.8. All right, and that's equal to, well, what? Well, again, we have 3.4 on top of this fraction, 3.4 on bottom here, so I can cross-cancel. They both become 1s, and you're left with, well, let's see, m times 1 is m. 1 times 1 is just 1, so actually I have my final answer here. I don't even need that. M equals 74.8. All right, so why don't you guys take a second? I want you to try this one. Solve for x and then see what you get. All right, hopefully you saw that. Oh, here's x, and what's happening to x? So he's being multiplied by this negative 42.3. So how do I get rid of that 42.3 or negative 42.3? Well, we have multiplication going on here. What's the inverse operation of multiplication? Division. So divide by negative 42.3. But if I divide that side by negative 42.3, gotta divide that side by negative 42.3. And well, let's see, negative 42.3 over negative 42.3. Those can not cross cancel, but simplify to become just, well, negative 42.3 over negative 42.3. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so it's like saying positive 1x over 1. And that is equal to negative 761.4 divided by negative 42.3. Well, let's see. First of all, a negative divided by negative is definitely going to get us a positive number. And 761.4 divided by negative 42.3, or the positive divided by the positive, or the negative 761.4 divided by the negative 42.3, either way you want to do it, gets you positive 18 on that side. So what goes over here? Well, 1x over 1. That's the same as just saying x. I have to write that. And there's your answer. All right, so there's a little short video for you. Look forward to seeing you guys in class.